I want us to focus our attention this morning on the 16th Psalm and the 6th verse of the 16th Psalm. The writer declares, "The lot has fallen to me in fair ground. We have a goodly heritage." The lot has fallen to me in fair ground. We have a goodly heritage. I would like to thank the organizers of this fixed calendar event and to share with you that I deem it a privilege to speak at such an occasion and to such an august body today. And I believe, and I bring you rather greetings from Bishop Boyd, Archdeacon Cartwright, the people of St. Monica and St. George, of course my beautiful wife who is here with me in the nation's capital. There are, friends, several ways to approach the psalm. One such way is to place them in three categories. Psalms of orientation, where persons feel a close connection with God. They are sure of His faithfulness. Psalms of disorientation, where persons feel disconnected with God. This is usually in moments of distress and trouble. Then there are psalms of reorientation, where persons have come to a new revelation of the faithfulness of God. Their faith is strengthened because God has strengthened or delivered them from their time of trouble. And so they are reassured. Today I lift my text from a psalm of orientation, Psalm 16 verse 6. The lot has fallen to us in fair ground, and we have a goodly heritage. While the writer is referring to apportioning of land in an equitable way, there is a much deeper message in this text for us today. And so as I crave your attention, let us apply the simple yet profound words of wisdom in the psalm. The psalmist makes a bold statement here. He understands that the lot has been given to him. Rather, has fallen to him. That is, he has no control over what has been passed on to him. But he acknowledges something. He says that the lot has fallen in fair ground. That what he has received is a goodly heritage. We understand that he seems to show some sense of appreciation for what has come to him. He realizes that it is of awesome worth and value what has been given to him. As a matter of fact, I believe that when he examines it and then he looks around at the transient standards and the values and the shifting and cacophonic beliefs of the time, and then he looks at what has been handed down to him, it is with a boastful spirit that he acknowledges, when I compare it to everything else, I know that I've received a goodly heritage. He understands what has been given to him. That what has been given to him has been tested and tried. Like the psalmist, our theme today reminds us that we too in the Turks and Caicos Islands have a goodly heritage. But the challenging question is, do we see the good in what we have? What has been passed on to us? We know that culture, which is the way of a people, is a living experience. So some aspects of culture, they're not static. They're subject to be redefined. There are parts of our culture that have subtly but constantly been redefined and continues to evolve. We hold so dear to our hearts stew peas on a Sunday, realizing that stew peas is Jamaican. And it's come to us from Jamaica. And it shows that we are deeply connected with Jamaica. We often brag about pastelitos, which is a Spanish word, which means patty, and comes from us to us from our Dominican Republic connection. We hold these two so dear to our hearts. But, my friends, today, it shows the extent to which outside things will influence, affect, and shape who we are. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. This I call transient heritage. It changes from time to time. However, on this 25th day of May, I declare to you that there are other aspects of our culture that must not change, that must never be tampered with. It must remain the same yesterday, today, and even forever. Stephen Barry declared, a concerted effort must be made to preserve our heritage because it is a vital link to our culture, to our education, to our inspiration, and to our economic legacy. All of the things that quite literally make us who we are entrenched in it. And so today, as we look at our own culture, we speak about reclaiming our heritage. What are some of the things that we must hold on to? I am convinced that we are a God-fearing people. It's been passed on to us. One of the things that we never questioned in the Turks and Caicos Islands was the faithfulness of God. Most of our laws are influenced and entrenched by the righteousness of God without apology. With the dawn of tertiary education, our people are now engaged in the ongoing debate of relativism and not infringing on the religious rights of others, even those who have no religion. There is an ever-present pressure to replace theology with popular philosophy. We believe that in many ways those who went on before, they were not as educated as us. But this demon, this pride that so permeates our heart, cause us to lack the desire to appreciate the things passed on to us from those who've gone on before. I declare to you today that our parents did not have the academic abilities that we have, but they had common sense. They had common sense to know and to understand this basic truth, that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of all wisdom. I am hearing more and more and seeing more of our young people move away from this Christian faith passed on to us. We have witnessed a shift in our culture from what was unthinkable to now being so acceptable today. Our heritage declares that we ought not as PNP or PDM, not as Turks, not as Caicos, but as a collective people, we must always seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, believing that as a result of this, all things will be added unto us. As a collective people, my friends, we must not sway and be swayed by what is popular, or be pressured by what is politically or economically expedient. Rather, we must always pursue righteousness, knowing that it's righteousness that exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people.